Why does Varka feel safe to listen to, even before you know anything about him? In my previous video, we looked at how Nod-Krai uses withheld movement, shadow, and spatial tension to test that trust. This video goes earlier. In Luna 2, the game quietly trains your eyes to understand how Varka uses space. We look at 4 sequences. The first 2 define his leadership language. The last 2 test it under pressure. When Varka appears in Luna 2, he is almost always on the same level as everyone else. Not elevated, not looming, not framed as something you have to look up to. He often stands at the front or near the center of the group, but the blocking never lets that position feel dominant. When he steps forward, it's brief. Someone else moves to his side or he shifts back into alignment with the group. The effect is subtle but consistent. He is leading without separating himself. You can see it in how he turns toward whoever is speaking. He doesn't address the room as an abstract whole. He faces people, one at a time. That physical openness matters because it makes his position feel shared, not imposed. There are only 2 moments where this changes. The first is his introduction. His claymore appears first, framed from below before he does. The camera leans into hero framing, low angles, weight, readiness. But the scene doesn't end there. After the fight, the image settles with him already back on the ground, facing the group, sharing the same space. The second is inside the headquarters. The group stops on the lower floor and he begins speaking from there. He doesn't immediately take the stairs. He introduces himself, asks what happened on the same level as everyone else. Only when the conversation turns serious does he climb. The camera shows the entire movement. The turn, the climb, the pause at the top. Even now, the blocking avoids hierarchy. The upper floor edge aligns closely with the group's head below. There's no railing, no visual marker of command. Instead of a dramatic head difference, the space compresses into a single vertical plane. The camera does look up at him, but only slightly. The angle is restrained, never low enough to turn elevation into spectacle. The light behaves the same way. The upper level is brighter, but not isolating. It spreads through the room, leaving him at its edge rather than single out. So even when Varka climbs, the scene refuses to turn elevation into dominance. Across all of these moments, the lighting does the same thing as the blocking. No spotlight, no separation. He is lit as part of the room by the same light system as everyone else. Same plane, same eyeline, same status. The message lands before you think about it. This is a leader who doesn't need to claim the center because the space already knows how to make room for him. Luna 2 doesn't just show how Varka avoids dominance. It shows what he does when dominance is offered. Inside the headquarters, the space itself offers Varka authority. The brightest area is obvious, a long table, centered lighting, a clear visual axis. This is where leaders usually stand. And Varka doesn't take it. When everyone reaches the upper level, he chooses the corner between the 2 boards instead. Not the center, not the table, not the light. He stays there deliberately. He even moves along the edge of the second board from one side to the other without ever approaching the table. This is not hesitation. It's refusal. The room is prepared for dominance and he declines it. What matters is when that changes. Varka only begins moving toward the center after someone stands opposite him. When Never arrives, she places herself across the table. Only then does Varka gradually step forward from the brighter edge into the brighter space. Notice the sequence. He doesn't summon authority, he responds to it. never mirrors this movement as well. She enters in dimmer light, then approaches the table, stepping into clarity as he does. The same pattern repeats later with Arlecchino. She first appears in shadow. Only after she moves to the opposite end of the table does the scene place both of them fully in the light. No other character is staged directly across from Varka like this. Authority here is not a solo image. It's relational. Even the camera reinforces this restraint. Varka is almost always visible, even when he stands at the edge of the frame. The camera keeps him readable without making him imposing. There's a moment where he's alone in the headquarters, waiting for reports. He appears at different points in the room, across levels. The edit lets the movement be inferred, not displayed. He owns the space without planting himself in it. This isn't dominance. It's spatial fluency. The message is quiet but consistent. Varka doesn't take space to prove authority. He waits until someone steps into it with him. Authority does not sit in the room permanently. It appears only when uncertainty enters. That becomes clear with Denslev. When he arrives, Varka does not assert control from above. He meets him on the lower level, not blocking the stairs, not clearing a path either. Denslev is held there, not by force, but by delay. Nothing escalates. No one raises a voice. The threshold remains uncrossed until Paimon introduced and Lumine confirms who he is. Only after that confirmation does the room relax. Only then do we later see Denslev on the upper level, unremarked, unchallenged. Access is not denied. It is postponed until trust is earned. That logic does not end at stairs. Later, during the break, the group gathers on the upper level. Varka is no longer positioned near the threshold. He stands by the table instead, speaking with Lumine and Denslev. Physically, he has relinquished control of the access point. But this attention does not relax with it. When Never arrives, Varka is the first to notice. Not the characters closer to the stairs, not the one with a clearer line of sight. He reacts first, and when she reaches the upper floor, he is the one who steps forward to meet her. This tells us something important. His authority is no longer about delaying entry. It is about monitoring presence. Even after access is granted, his awareness remains active. The only moment where that vigilance is structurally bypassed is Arlecchino's entrance. She appears behind Lumine and Columbina unexpectedly, entering from outside the established threshold logic. Varka is not positioned to intercept, and the scene allows the perimeter to be crossed. This is not framed as hesitation or surprise. It is a deliberate exception. Denslev is delayed, Never is observed, Arlecchino bypasses the system entirely. The difference matters. Varka intervenes when clarity is missing. He steps in when trust has not yet been established. And once it is, he steps back. This is not dominance. It is conditional protection. All of this happens in public space. The inn does not. The inn is the smallest space in the Varka scenes in Luna 2. Only 3 characters. A private room. The highest risk of authority becoming invasive. Varka knocks. When the door opens, he does not enter. He states it directly. Even when invited in, he stays outside and redirects the conversation to the hallway instead. The reason he gives is formal, but the effect is spatial. This choice preserves what the earlier scenes established: shared level, direct engagement, controlled distance, even as the situation demands hierarchy. Only after the conversation is moved into neutral space does he ask about Lumina's readiness, her commitment, and her role in the plan. This is the only scene where he clearly speaks as her superior. And notice the order. He refuses private space. He establishes boundaries. He removes intimacy from the setting. The blocking does the work. Authority appears, but only after the space is prepared. Across these scenes, blocking, staging, and lighting all point to the same idea. Varka does not claim authority by taking space. He earns it by managing space carefully and by stepping forward only when the situation requires it. Luna 2 teaches your eyes how to read him quietly. By the time Luna 3 introduced withheld movement, shadow, and spatial tension, your brain already understands his spatial ethic. The contrast works because the foundation was laid earlier. Luna 2 wants you to feel safe with him first, before it ever asks you to read him. There's a quieter version of this logic later. When Flint asks Varka to stay behind because of his injury, the camera doesn't dramatize it. It narrows. It moves closer. The injury is shown only after concern is expressed, not as proof of weakness, but as context. Varka doesn't argue. He doesn't reclaim authority. He accepts the smallest role in the room, and the scene lets him do that without loss of stature. Leadership here isn't about who moves forward, it's about knowing when not to. I hope you enjoyed the video. I put the link on the previous Varka Luna 3 blocking analysis video in the description. Catch you on the next one. This has been Anora.